When you hear the word dirham, you probably think of a simple coin used in daily life across the UAE, Qatar, Morocco, or other Middle Eastern countries. But behind this everyday currency lies a hidden world of treasures that can make collectors' hearts race. Some rare dirham coins are not just worth a few pounds or dollars, they are valued in the thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, when they appear in international auctions. But what makes a UK coin collector, or even someone from Europe or America, so deeply interested in a currency that's not even used in their own country? The answer is history, rarity, and global connection. The dirham has its roots in centuries-old trade routes that linked the Middle East with Europe, Africa, and Asia. For a collector in London, holding a rare dirham means holding a piece of that ancient trade, a symbol of how East and West were connected through wealth and commerce. It's not just a coin, it's a story of power, culture, and survival. What truly makes certain dirham coins valuable are the rare minting errors, limited editions, and commemorative issues that were produced in extremely small numbers. For example, certain early UAE dirhams from the 1970s, especially those with minting mistakes or unique symbols, have skyrocketed in value at auctions. Collectors in the UK often see these coins as exotic gems, much harder to find than a British sovereign or a US silver dollar, and that rarity fuels competition and drives up their prices. And here's the most exciting part. Many of these coins are still out there, circulating in people's wallets or lying forgotten in old drawers, waiting to be discovered. Imagine finding a coin worth thousands among your everyday change. That thrill is exactly why collectors chase the most valuable dirham coins. So in this video, we are going to explore the crown jewel of dirham coins, reveal why it commands such staggering value, and show you why it has become a global obsession for collectors, from Dubai to London. One of the most valuable and historically significant dirham coins to ever come out before 1982 is the very first 1 dirham coin of 1973. This was no ordinary coin. It came at a time when the newly formed United Arab Emirates was taking its first steps as a unified nation and needed a currency that would represent its identity and independence. Up until then, people in the region had been using the Qatar and Dubai rial. But in 1973, the UAE officially introduced the dirham, and with it came this very first coin. Larger in size compared to modern issues and made of strong copper-nickel alloy, the 1973 dirham stood out with its clean and powerful design, showing the young nation's pride. For collectors, this isn't just a coin, it's a historical milestone that connects directly to the birth of the Emirates. Because it was part of the very first series, the 1973 dirham was widely used in trade, shopping, and daily transactions. This heavy circulation means that most of the coins you might see today are worn, scratched, or in poor condition, which is why finding one in pristine, uncirculated quality is extremely rare. And rarity always drives value. In normal worn condition, this coin might only fetch $1 or $2, hardly more than its face value. But in mint state, the story completely changes. At international auctions, well-preserved examples of the 1973 1 dirham have reached stunning prices. One specimen, graded as specimen by PCGS, carried an auction estimate of $450 to $550, and another beautiful example sold in Europe for around $227, which is close to $250. Even some less than perfect, but uncirculated pieces have been known to sell for more than $300. This is a massive leap in value for a coin that once passed through everyday markets and shops for simple goods. The key factor that sets this coin apart from post-1982 dirhams is its uniqueness and limited availability. Later dirhams were minted in huge quantities, and many are still found in circulation today, making them common and easy to collect. But the 1973 issue, being the first and struck in smaller numbers, is far rarer. It represents the UAE's economic beginning, a story that resonates strongly with collectors, especially in the UK and Europe, where owning such a piece is like holding a fragment of Middle Eastern history. For British collectors in particular, there's an added layer of fascination. The UK has long-standing trade ties with the Gulf region, so this coin is not just a collectible. It's a symbol of cultural and commercial connection between the two worlds. This is why the 1973 dirham is valued far above its later counterparts. It's not simply a coin, it's a piece of history that transformed from a small unit of currency into a treasure capable of fetching hundreds of dollars at auction. Another reason the 1976 1 dirham coin has attracted serious collector attention is because of the rare minting errors found on some examples. While most coins were struck normally, a small number show unusual mistakes that slipped through the mint. These include off-center strikes, where the design is not aligned properly and part of the image or text is missing, as well as double strikes, where the die hit the blank twice and left a ghost-like doubling of the falcon or Arabic lettering. Some even have planche errors, meaning the metal blank was imperfect before striking, leaving cracks, clipped edges, or extra metal around the rim. For collectors, especially in the UK and Europe, these errors turn a scarce coin into an ultra-rare gem. Ordinary circulated 1976 dirhams might sell for just a few dollars, but when an error example comes up at auction, the price can be dramatically higher. A 1976, 1 dirham with a visible off-center strike has been recorded selling for over 500 USD, while double strike pieces have reached similar territory depending on grade and visibility of the error. Even minor planche flaws can push the value into the hundreds, because error coins from the UAE's first decade of coinage are far less common than from later periods. What makes these errors so special is the timing. In the mid-1970s, the UAE's minting process was still developing, and strict quality controls like those in larger world mints were not yet in place. That means the few errors that did escape the mint are now seen as historical accidents, frozen moments that add uniqueness to the coin. For a serious UK collector, owning a flawless 1976 dirham is already an achievement. But finding one with a dramatic error is like striking gold, a piece that can fetch auction prices many times higher than the standard issue. The coin I am explaining is the small-size 1 dirham introduced in 1982, the version that replaced the large and heavy issues of the 1970s. This coin marked a turning point in the UAE's currency history, as it was designed to be lighter, more practical, and easier to produce in large numbers for the growing economy. Struck in copper nickel, the smaller dirham carried the now iconic Dala coffee pot design, a symbol of Emirati tradition and hospitality, along with Arabic inscriptions in the denomination. Unlike the earlier big coins that were minted in smaller numbers, the post-1982 dirhams were produced in huge quantities, which is why in normal condition they are still very common in circulation today. But what most people don't realize is that hidden among these millions of coins are rare minting, mistakes that can turn a simple dirham into a collector's prize worth hundreds of dollars. Some of the most desirable errors on this small dirham include off-center strikes, where the coffee pot and lettering appear shifted or cut off, giving the coin a dramatic and unusual look. These errors are immediately noticeable, and collectors love them because they stand out from normal coins. Even more exciting are the double strike errors, where the die hit the blank twice, leaving a ghost-like duplicate image of the design. Then there are the extremely rare off-metal strikes, when the 1 dirham design was accidentally struck on a blank meant for another coin, like a 50 fils. These off-metal errors are so scarce that when they appear in auctions, bidding wars often follow. A small dirham with a bold off-center strike has sold for $500 USD, while certain dramatic off-metal strikes have pushed values even higher, in the range of $600 to $700 USD, depending on condition and rarity. For ordinary people, this small post-1982 dirham may just look like a simple coin still used in daily transactions. But for collectors, especially in the UK and Europe, it represents the thrill of the hunt. The idea that a coin worth just 1 dirham in shops could actually be worth hundreds of dollars in an international auction adds mystery and excitement. This is what makes the post-1982 small dirham so different. While the regular ones are common and carry little value, the rare error pieces have become treasures, turning everyday change into highly valuable collectibles. One of the most talked about coins after 1982 is the 1995 1 dirham, which is now a favorite among collectors because of its surprising rarity and unusual errors. At first glance, the 1995 dirham looks just like the other small-size copper nickel dirhams introduced in the early 1980s, featuring the classic Dala coffee pot on one side and Arabic inscriptions with the denomination on the other. But this year stands out because mintages were noticeably lower than surrounding years, and quality control during production was not as strict, which allowed several rare minting errors to slip into circulation. Among the most valuable errors on the 1995 dirham are off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, and die rotation errors, in which the coffee pot side and the inscription side do not align correctly. There are also examples of clipped planches, where a section of the coin's edge is cut off during production, giving the coin a crescent-like shape. These types of mistakes are rare in any coin series, and when they appear on a UAE Dirham, collectors become very eager to acquire them. In terms of value, a normal circulated 1995 Dirham might only sell for $5 to $15 USD, which is already higher than face value because collectors know this year is harder to find. But when it comes to error coins, the prices can rise dramatically. For instance, an off-center 1995 Dirham has sold for $300 to $400 USD, while more dramatic clipped planche errors and rotation errors have been auctioned for $500 to $600 USD. These high auction results prove that even in the small size post-1982 Dirham series, there are hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. For collectors in the UK and worldwide, the 1995 Dirham is not just another coin. It represents the thrill of finding rarity in an unexpected place. It shows how the UAE's modern coinage, though still in everyday use, can hold significant value when error varieties or low mintage years are considered. Another notable coin in the series is the 2001 Dirham, a modern issue that has attracted a lot of attention because of its striking errors and collector demand. At first, the 2000s Dirham doesn't appear too different from the 1980s and 1990s coins. It's the same smaller copper nickel type with the traditional Dala coffee pot design. But what sets the 2000 issue apart is that several batches were struck with unusual minting, mistakes that slipped through quality control. The most famous error on this coin is the misaligned die strike, where one side of the coin is properly centered while the other side is rotated or shifted. Some 2000 dirhams show the obverse and reverse, designs misaligned by up to 90 degrees, which makes them instantly noticeable and highly desirable to collectors. Another rare error is the off-metal strike, where the 1 dirham design was accidentally struck on a blank intended for a different coin, such as a 50 fils. These coins are extremely scarce and considered prized possessions in auction houses. In terms of value, an ordinary 2000 dirham in circulation is worth face value and is still commonly used in the UAE, but when preserved in mint state condition, collectors in the UK, US, and Middle East are willing to pay $30 to $60 USD for a clean, uncirculated piece simply because of its year and condition. When it comes to error specimens, though, the value rises dramatically. One dirham with a clear rotation error has sold for $300 to $400 USD, and off-metal strikes from this year have reached as high as $600 to $700 USD in international auctions. For many coin enthusiasts, the 2000 dirham represents how even relatively recent coins can become valuable treasures due to rare minting mistakes. It proves that not only old pre-1982 big dirhams but also modern issues can carry hidden wealth, waiting to be discovered in someone's pocket change. And there you have it, a journey through some of the most valuable dirham coins in history. From the large, heavy issues before 1982 that carried the pride of a newly formed nation, to the smaller, practical dirhams after 1982 that still hide incredible minting errors. Each coin tells a story of tradition, craftsmanship, and hidden fortune. What makes these coins so fascinating is that they are not just pieces of metal. They are pieces of history, symbols of the UAE's growth, and silent witnesses of a nation's journey from its early years to becoming one of the strongest economies in the region. For collectors in the UK, Europe, and across the world, the UAE Dirham holds a very special charm. It's not only about its design or rarity, but about the thrill of discovery. Imagine holding a coin that most people spend without a second thought, and realizing that in your hands lies a treasure worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars in an international auction. That's the magic of numismatics, turning ordinary pocket change into extraordinary value. So the next time you receive a 1 dirham coin, don't ignore it. Take a moment, study its details, check its year, and look closely for errors, because what might seem like just a small coin in your wallet could actually be a hidden treasure that connects you to history and could change your future. Who knows, you might be holding the next coin that collectors around the world are desperate to own. This is the power and mystery of the dirham, a simple coin, but with stories, history, and value far beyond its face.